The Big Al Podcast with your host, Al Bishop, unfiltered and uncut.
Alrighty, sitting across from me, I got the EFC's most experienced fighter, a man with 26 fights, if I'm not mistaken. 17 wins, 13 by KO, TKO, 3 submissions, and only 1 decision victory on your record. Leaving you with a finish rate of 94%. A man who's never been finished by KO, TKO, Martin the Punisher van Staaden. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. It was a great introduction. Thank you.
How's things going, man?
Good, man. Training's been going well, man. Just in a good space. I get to fight somebody that I've wanted to fight again for a long time. I always said before myself and Leon retire, we need to have a third one. So I'm really excited that this fight came together and it's actually happening, bro.
Yeah, 100%. And it's a hell of an interesting fight. I've sat and looked at it and thought about it for quite some time. Obviously, you two guys that have been around a long time. It's that classic CRT, FFM. You guys have fought each other in the past, which I don't know if many people have realized that. It's 1-1. So it's a grudge match, and it's probably the biggest grudge match maybe the EFC's ever seen.
Could be, definitely.
Yeah, and it's quite a strange thing that it's worked out this way, that the two of you will face each other now. Obviously at lightweight. So what do you think about the fight? Obviously you're returning home to Durban, and it's hell of a fight coming.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Dropping to lightweight is definitely a weight class where I should have been a long time ago. I think Leon he's also lightweight, featherweight. So and he comes prepared. He's always conditioned. Doesn't matter what weight he fought at. If he fights at, he's always prepared. The first time he fought was a welterweight. That was my first cut ever to welter. Managed to win that fight. A second time he fought was at middleweight for the middleweight title in Pretoria. Went 5 rounds. I'm losing a decision there. Legs were battered and bruised from Leon's kicks. Sure. I walked out with not a scar on my face or a mark. I think this fight's going to be very different. I think now we're fighting a lightweight, and I just think I've progressed a lot since the last time we fought. I think Leon's progressed. His ground game has come a long way. I just think that his striking is still the same. If you look at all his fights, he's still got that old kickboxing Muay Thai style. It used to work. And I think if you don't evolve and pick up new things to try, guys can figure you out and capitalize on that, and that's what we're looking at doing come June 10.
Okay, so would you say that you're looking at a lot of his lack of evolution in his striking as a weakness, and that's almost kind of something that you're looking to exploit?
I just think he's still the same striker he was 6 years ago when I fought him, and leading up to all these fights. And watching him, he's tough, he's durable, he comes to scrap, he wants to get into that brawl and that war. And he's been in some really hectic fights, bro, with Don Madge. He's had, 2 serious scraps with Don. Sure. He's had a scrap with Damazani, where he took a lot of damage, and Boyd also, he took a lot of damage, and as a fighter, I think Leon is 2 years younger than me. I've had almost double his fights. I don't think I've ever been in a scrap like that, or where a guy's been paneling me for 15 minutes. Sure. And my face was smashed. Sure. I'm trying to say that I'm a bit more of an intelligent fighter. Like, I don't like to take damage. Just for longevity of my career, I still want to be fighting in my late 30s and
breathing through the nose.
100%, bro. I think athletes are in their prime when they hit like 34, 35, 36. And if you look after yourself, you can fight into your late 30s and still win and still be very competitive.
Sure.
So I just think for Leon, he's taken a lot of damage, and it's been amazing. Like his heart is, it's the size of a little soccer ball. You can't take that away from him. But just in terms of your career, you can only do that for so long. And then you start getting punch drunk, or your reflexes start going. It does start taking a toll on you, and I think you could see it his last few fights.
Yeah, sure. And just in that, you mentioned a couple of names, which are obviously guys that are your teammates. Does that give you a good perspective into what to expect from him? Obviously, more recent times, I mean, it's been a long time since you guys fought. Guys like Boyd Allen and Don Madge, do you spend a bit of time, going over what to expect from him?
Yeah, 100%. Every fighter has got his, way he fights and certain things he does, and you just try and pick up on small things that they're good at and things that they're bad at, and especially if your teammates are fighting them, then you can, they do help you and go, right, this worked for me, this worked for me. So these are the things that I've picked up in the fight that he does, and so yeah, it's definitely going to help me in this fight for sure.
Okay. Just looking at the lightweight scenario, this will be your second official lightweight fight. The first one was a catchweight just before. What sort of sparked that idea? Was it something that you were thinking about for a long time, or was it kind of like just where you are in your career?
Yeah, look, I spoke about it to Rory just leading up to the David fight. I think, I was struggling to keep the weight up with all the training I was doing. I was really struggling to keep the weight on my frame.
Okay.
And, I was hovering around 82 kilos, in shape. And for welterweight, that's small. That's what lightweights walk around at. And it was something that we were threatening to do. And, after the loss to Drickus, not that I gave away any strength or, I wrestled him for 3 rounds and I felt good, I felt strong, but carrying that extra 6 or 7 kilos that are guys bigger than you, it does take its toll on you.
Sure.
And, a lot of guys they move up in weight divisions the older they get, but I've moved down and I've never felt better. And I'm glad I'm here and glad my eyes opened up and I've actually made the drop and I make it quite comfortably. I'm currently sitting at 77 kilos where I had to cut to get here.
Okay.
Now I can operate at this weight and I can cut the extra 7 kilos and make lightweight and still perform, which is great.
Yeah, sure. Do you find that you're a lot more confident or say comfortable at lightweight? Like you feel like maybe you're slightly physically a little bit stronger and faster than the guys that are currently sitting at lightweight?
I definitely think the strength plays a big part into that. I've been training with big guys my whole career. When we wrestle, I'm wrestling with guys that are 90 kilos. And now when I switch over to wrestling with guys my size, it makes it so much easier. It's like, not that the guys aren't strong, I'm just saying being able to train with guys that are strong and heavier than you, then training against guys that are your weight and your sort of some strength, you get to get the better of them in a sense, which is awesome. And I still, to the date, still also train with the welterweights and the middleweights and the light heavyweights. So I mix between the two, and I can definitely feel a difference.
Okay, cool. The bigger news that came out not so long ago, we saw an announcement that you signed with Heavy Duty Management, European-based company.
Yeah.
I'm guessing from what they were saying, you guys kind of met after the Christian Holly fight. That's what brought it about. They look after a couple of big European names. Just talk us through how that came about and what that really means for you.
Yeah, look, the goal was always to fight overseas. We sent out an email. The guys knew I was, because obviously I've fought Christian, and they were very interested. They were very they actually phoned me straight away, and they were like, "Listen, let's get the ball rolling." And I said to him, "Look, I'm still in contract with the EFC, and I really want to fight overseas, and I just need to chat to Graham." Myself and Graham had a chat because my contract was due for renewal, and I said to him, "Look, I want to fight overseas." And Graham he said that if I can get a fight there, I must fight. So I said, "Okay, cool." Asked me to re-sign with them for 6 fights. I said, "I'll sign the contract on one condition, that if opportunity comes for me to fight overseas, I don't want any stories. I don't care. It's not about the money. It's about getting overseas and fighting over there." And it just all came together. I had a good meeting with Graham, and I re-signed with EFC, and Heavy Duty are aware that I'm still with EFC, and they actually phoned me twice with 2 opportunities later this year. And I just said to them, "Look, I've got a fight on 10th of June. Once this is done and dusted, then we'll make it happen." So okay, cool. So it's on the back burner, but it's going to happen.
Okay, so would you say that you've re-signed with the EFC?
Yeah.
Okay, so EFC fans can breathe out just a little bit. Okay.
So
would it be safe to assume that the possibility of you fighting between 2 promotions is quite possible?
100%. That is a goal. Like I said to Graham, I said, I'll fight for you for UFC 3 times a year. If I can fight once or twice overseas and make dollars, that's what I want to do.
Sure.
I said, I'm by no means a youngster anymore. I've got 3, maybe 4 good years left, and then I need to decide what I want to do. And when I decide to hang up my gloves, I need to have something in the bank to go,
100%.
right,
100%.
the last 14 years, well, it's been 10 years now. By the time I retire, it'll be 14 years. I've got X amount in the bank, and I can say thank you. It was worth it at the end of the day.
100%.
I can't put my body on the line every day and not have something to show for it at the end of it. So that's the way I've approached it, and that's the way it's going to be.
Okay.
Whether Graham and them play ball with me or they don't play ball with me, I will be fighting overseas.
Okay. What about the title, EFC title? Is that still in your mind?
Yeah, look, I've had 2 title shots. Look, it's always nice to be champion.
Sure.
Sponsors like a champion. People want to be associated with a champion, but I'm not letting that drive me. It's all about fighting and earning some cash now at the moment. Don's current champion. It's going to be hard for guys to beat him. So I'll just have to wait my turn. Who knows? I could flip and be on a 4, 5, 6 fight win streak and get signed by the UFC or Bellator. Who knows?
Sure.
These things can happen, and I think my fighting style is it's people like the way I fight because I come to finish fights. I think people can see that in my record.
Yeah, 100%. And you're not an easy man to put away either, so it always makes for exciting fights.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned your career has lasted something like 10 years now.
Yeah.
I think 2009 your pro debut or your
Yeah.
pro record goes back to. Just talk us through that. What was it? Fight Force, XFC,
Yeah.
Fight Club in Durban. Back in the day, what it was
We
like.
just all threw down, got phone calls on the day sometimes. Yeah, I'll never forget the first. I was training for about 3 months, and I got phoned on the day for a fight. I was like, guy pulled out, and Kevin, who's passed away now, was my trainer at the time. He's like, listen, Larry just phoned me. Larry Foster is like, we've got a fight for you tonight at Suncoast Casino. Do you want to fight the guy? 100%. I was riddled with the flu. Went and got some vitamin B12. He injected me, and for away I went. I had my first fight and I won, and I was hooked then. And the events got better and better. Look where EFC is now. It's one of the biggest platforms.
Sure.
It's the biggest platform in Africa, and it's one of the biggest shows I think in the world as well.
Yeah.
And it's a awesome production. It's come a long way, and the sport's now going mainstream, and it's just opening doors for everybody. It's amazing.
Sure. And on your personal side, where did martial arts really begin for you?
Sure. Fighting in the clubs, basically. Yeah, I don't have any martial art background. I think I wrestled at school for about 2 months.
Okay.
I was a youngster. Wrestling runs in my family. My father wrestled for Natal and for SA. My dad's cousins wrestled. My one cousin still wrestles, Dwayne van Staaden. He was called off to the Olympics a few years back, and he got a bad injury.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of in my blood, but I don't like to wrestle. I like to strike. But yeah, it's since day one when I started training with Kevin, it was all MMA. So I've been doing MMA training for like the last 10 years about.
Okay.
Like I said, I trained for 3 months, and then I had my first pro fight, and that's where it like started, and just kept training MMA, boxing, whatever. We just trained. And I think when I finally made the move, Kevin passed away a month prior to the fight with Leon, the second fight with Leon.
Okay.
He had a heart attack in New Zealand, which I was supposed to be there for a fight, but things just didn't work out. And I was kind of in a training everywhere in Durban and getting jiu-jitsu at one school at Daryl Fort from 10th Planet. I was there for about 8 months. I was doing cross-training with Rory, was sending me programs to do my conditioning, and then I would go spar maybe once a week wherever the guys were sparring. And there was Rory said I must come to Joburg and do my camp for the Kabulu fight when I was just signed with the EFC, my second fight there, and went to Richie and them and went there for one session for pads. Richie still told me, "Are you fit?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fighting on. What you talking about? I'm fighting in 10 days." Like, puts his pads on and he takes my pads. I was done. 3 minutes, I was done. Gasping for air. I was like, when I walk, I had a blue lip and a cut lip and a blue eye, and I walked out of there. Rory, this is where I need to be. He's like, he agrees. He's like, this is where you need to be. So I left everything in Durban and moved up here and haven't looked back.
Okay. And obviously, it must be, if you look back and think about a lot of things, it must be quite like a twilight zone for someone like you who's fought out of a tent in a parking lot in Durban to 12.8 million views now that the guys are putting on EFC.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I said to I actually said a few guys, over the last few weeks. I said we take for granted what an impact we have as athletes and how big a reach we actually have, because we're just so caught up in our own stuff and just training and carrying on. But if you sit back and you look at it, if you look at the viewership and, now that it's gone on to SABC, we've had a lot more attention, to be honest. When it was on SuperSport, it was great, and even Kwese. But when it went on to SABC, you got guys, petrol tenants, knocking on your window and going, hey, I watched your fight. And you get to the robots and there's a beggar and he's like, yay, Martin. And you're like, what? He's like, oh, you fight. You're like, you're kind of blown away of like how many people actually do watch and like follow, and it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, sure. And I think it's one of those weird times now, because everything's like the wheels really set in motion now sadly for your generation, the next generation.
Yeah, no, the guys are going to benefit big time.
You're the guys who had to do all the hard work and break the hard ground. I think Soldier Boy actually was saying to me that I think if I'm not mistaken, he said he actually remembered watching you fight before he even had his first fight, and how, if you look back now, how all of those things have just made the sport into what it is. You know what I mean? Become this massive contender. 12.8 million views is what they're saying in the first couple of months with the SABC deal. And
that's crazy.
And it's giving guys insane opportunities. That's what I said. It must be such a strange thing to look back from where someone like you started.
2,000 people to now 12.8 million. Yeah, it is crazy, and it's awesome to see how far it's come. Being the pioneers, I'm excited for the younger guys that are coming through, man. They're going to be making the money and buying the big houses and driving the Ferraris, and so it's just cool though. If the sport's not an easy thing to be in, like the grind is hard, the lifestyle's very hard. The guys that stick to it and are disciplined will go far, man, and make a lot of money.
100%. And I think what I was saying to you earlier, just before we started, was I always say to people that MMA athletes, in my eyes, are the most supreme athletes on earth. There's no comprehension of what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, I try, like do jits, and you do your stand up, and you do a bit of strength and conditioning, but at the end of the day, you're just doing it at your own pace, and try and imagine how you guys put all of this together and go through a camp and then get up with all of those nerves and so on. Like this past weekend was the Jits comp, was my first comp, and it was kind of like dealing with all of those like things in your mind. It's a small scale for someone like me.
But still, you're competing, so the nerve, whether it's a small stage or a big stage, the nerves are real. The nerves are there, because you want to win, and it's awesome, man. It's really awesome.
Yeah, and it's also like I think a lot of people don't really realize if you sit back and look what's happening, especially in a fight. If we can say that, you've got two supreme athletes in front of the whole entire world. Like, it makes the connotation to like a team sport, rugby. If a fly-half misses a kick that loses a game, it kind of falls on the team. You know what I mean? There's 15, 20 guys that you can kind of say, look, maybe you could have done better here, or you could have done better there. In MMA, it's only you. There's a team, but at the end of the day, like, you were the only one who was in there. So that you open yourself up to the whole world. You know what I mean? To see you at your best or at your worst.
Yeah, nobody carries you inside there but yourself.
100%. So I think that really makes that extra bit of excitement about the sport. And the funny thing is, people go to see that. They want to see good and bad. You know what I mean? People want to see.
Some people want to see you lose. Some people want to see you win.
Sure.
It comes with the territory.
Sure. Obviously, back to Durban, there's obviously been quite an outcry from Durban to get MMA action back there, and it's been a little while. I think, was it UFC 38 maybe, somewhere around there? The last time they were there, on the card. What do you expect going back to Durban after all this
Well,
time?
well, I heard it's already sold out, bro, and it's 3 days. I
Sure.
don't think events ever sold out in 3 days. I know that seats are limited. I think 2,500. I'm not.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I know it's in 100 by 50 meter marquee, and shit, man, that's where I started fighting. So, what better way for me to go back to Durban for my third fight, and it's back in the same sort of setting.
Sure.
It's kind of surreal, and it's going to bring back a lot of memories, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, sure, man. It's exciting. I think it's an exciting card as well, and you're part of history. It's obviously there's the women's title up for the first time. Yourself and Leon. It's actually really worked out to a crazy historic
it's
card.
going to be awesome.
Sure, man. And what do you expect from the crowd?
They're going to go mad, bro. The last two fights I had in Durban, get you fired up, gets the fire going. I've got a lot of support down there. Just go in there and enjoy the moments, and give the people the fight that they want to see, and
Sure.
performance that they can be proud of, in a sense.
Sure. Also, just on Durban, there seems to, like, obviously there's a lot of guys that came from Durban, and the big names like yourself and Soldier Boy. Is it fair to assume maybe that Durban is perhaps the birthplace of MMA for South Africa?
I think MMA was being done in Joburg way before then. I just think
Sure.
Durban has just got a lot of fighters, like guys that grew up tough and scrappy, and and they just love the fighting culture. I'd say, and man, I used to fight a lot, bro. Like growing up, I used to fight a lot. And I just think it's a culture. I don't think you could call it the home of MMA. I think Joburg. It's got a lot of amazing athletes, and it started just first. I think I know that Rory was saying that like 15-20 years ago they were fighting in the nightclubs. I know they were fighting in I think it was called Night Fever back then. When I just started jolling, I was like 16, 17, and Kevin used to fight them, my old trainer, and there was events I think 3 or 4 times a year, and it just got bigger.
Sure. The bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Move around the tables and then let's put up a square and have a go. Yeah,
no rules fighting back then. There was no rules.
Sure. And what would you say to date is your hardest fight through your career?
I've had a few tough fights. I think the fight that I was dominated the most and was probably the Brown Ebersol fight.
Okay.
I always say that simply because he wrestled the snot out of me, and he was a seasoned guy. He had over 60 fights when I fought him. I think I was only at like 12 or 15. And I just say that's attitude. If he's not going to come here and beat me, I was cocky, I was arrogant.
Sure.
And then he just wrestled the shit out of me, definitely my toughest fight for sure.
Okay. And how would you compare that to your fight with like Drickus?
No, the fight with Drickus was a good fight. I was in control for 80% of the fight. He's an opportunistic fighter, and when opportunity presented itself, he capitalized and caught me in a nice choke. Kid's talented and he's hungry and he's driven. How far he's gonna go, I don't know. But yeah, look, I think he'll go a long way. I think he's got quite a few holes in his game still, especially his striking. Let's see, maybe he fixes that and become a well-rounded fighter. Because if you look at his finishes, all been submissions.
Yeah.
I think he's got 1 or 2 TKOs.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and he doesn't like to strike.
Yeah,
as soon as the striking starts going, he starts carrying up and makes contact and looks for the wrestling.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's the interesting one. We'll see how that will unfold.
Look, I've got nothing bad to say about him. I'm just giving constructive criticism.
Sure.
Yeah. He's done well, bro, and he's done very well in his career, and he's looks like he's going all the way. And he must just keep it up.
Sure.
Mustn't let the limelight get the better of him.
Can you still see yourself in the big stage at the UFC? Do you think that's still a possibility for you?
Without a doubt, I still believe that. Whether I have 1 fight, 2 fights, 3 fights there, I don't know. That's why I'm trying to make sure that I'm healthy. I'm in the best space mentally and physically I've ever been my whole life.
Sure.
And I'm 30. I've just turned 34 2 months ago. I wanted to retire when I'm 38. So let's see. You know, it's there's guys still currently fighting in the UFC at late 30s. Their records are very similar to mine.
Sure.
You know, I think I appeal to American crowd. I think, you know, when I step in there, I can knock people out. You know, whether it be at lightweight, welterweight, wherever. I've just, you know, if I touch people, they go down, and people like to see that.
Yeah.
It's very seldom that I'll shoot for a takedown unless the fight isn't going my way, or so I try and always please, you know, fight for the crowd. And who knows, if I keep a winning streak going and I beat some credible guys, I might get a shot there. Who knows? Even if in Bellator, I want to fight UFC because it's always been the dream. That's the reason I started MMA. If I get a shot, I get a shot, but I'm gonna keep grinding until I get there. If time does run out, then it is what it is. But I'm gonna keep pushing and keep grinding away.
Okay, so that was there's another question I wanted to get into. Was the UFC always part of the goal structure, or did it come about like once you had started?
No, it was always. I was watching UFC when I started. I was a middleweight back then. I was like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna fuck these guys up one day. Just, you know, I like, life is a journey. Some people get there quickly. Some people get there later. You know, Gareth's already been to UFC. Ruin's been to the UFC. The guys are knocking on the door. We're knocking, and that's what I'm saying. I keep evolving. I keep training. I train to get better every day. I'm not set in certain things. If something doesn't work for me, I move on from it and I try something different. No two fighters are the same, and I think that's very important for guys to realize that. Don't lie to yourself. Something doesn't work for you, don't keep doing it. Do something else, and, you know, just get better. Even if it's millimeters at a time, you're gonna get there and you're gonna get better.
Okay, sure. And it's obviously, as time has gone on, everything's changed. The training's changed. The mindset has changed. Recovery methods have changed. So it's this constant evolution of the sport. And I mean, I would guess a guy like yourself has really evolved to stay relevant in the game. You know what I mean, and still be on top of the game. Yeah. So if you look at the first time you ever did a training camp to now, how different would it be?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. We train a lot smarter now.
Sure.
When I started fighting, I was training once a day. In the morning, and then I used to go do some weights and cardio in the evening.
Sure.
And I used to work during the day. You could still do that if you're not too tired.
Sure. 2
good sessions a day is all you basically need to compete at a high level. But it starts getting tricky when you need to recover. You need to go to chiro, you need to go to physio, you need to go to like a hyperbaric chamber like I do, and like that takes time out of your day, and it's hard. It's a very hard schedule and regime to keep up. I'm super strict on my eating. I'm super strict on my recovery and my training. I train a minimum of 2 sessions a day, and I make sure that I eat to the T. You know, I work with Rory Diesel, who's my nutritionist and my strength and conditioning coach. I've bumped up my conditioning now to 3 times a week, because that's one thing in my game that I was lacking, was that conditioning. And Rich has almost told me, and I knew it. I've always known it, and I've made it an distinct effort to make that better, and it's only paying off now. You know, after 3 camps, or say about 6 months I've been working with Roy on my conditioning, it's only paying off now. There's no quick fix in this game.
Yeah.
So and like I said, guys just need to be honest with themselves, man.
Sure. And I don't think people quite understand. I was lucky enough to watch a small session of yours with Rory. I don't think guys quite understand what's going on when you say strength and conditioning. Like it's the real deal.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and it's some serious stuff, man. It's not something you sign up for on a Sunday morning.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Sure. Just a personal question there for me. Hyperbaric chambers. Just what are the benefits for you for recovery from hyperbaric chambers?
Well, the hyperbaric chamber, so what it does is puts you under, compresses your body, and you're breathing in oxygen. So what it does is, the way I understand it is, it pushes, I think it's more red blood cells into your blood, so it speeds up recovery, puts more oxygen in your blood. especially with all the training that we do, we need to recover. I hate ice baths. I hate ice baths. People can say what they want. I don't like the cold. That's why I live in South Africa. So I've been using the hyperbaric chamber now for about the last 3 camps, and I can definitely feel a difference, like in my body.
Sure.
Just the overall recovery. I'm a bit tired when I climb out there, but as soon as I get going, I'm on. I can feel like my body's fresh.
Sure. And that's I love those things, man. Like it's so crazy to see all the different technology come through. And I think like MMA is one of the craziest things from what MMA is. You get to see and learn so many different new things, like hyperbaric chambers. People will be like, what the hell are these guys talking about now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's all of these things you go through, like nutrition. I mean, I'm also working with Rory Diesel now from a nutrition side, and I wouldn't have ever experienced that in my life if it wasn't for MMA. You know what I mean? I would have
100%.
discovered these things and
No,
these
for sure.
people and these methods and stuff, which is a cool thing. The whole industry that MMA has created, and I think we're only just opening the door in South Africa. There's only a few guys who's like yourself that are using things like hyperbaric chambers and really focused on modern strength and conditioning exercise programs and taking these things that seriously. There's a lot of guys that I think that are still behind the times a little bit.
Yeah, no, they got to get with it, man.
Yeah, sure. And so on that sort of a note, what advice would you give to guys starting out in MMA now? Obviously, you mentioned a couple of things, like be honest with yourself and train hard.
Yeah.
But, just from like a mental side and looking at your career going forward, what advice would you give to some youngsters?
Yeah, I think a lot of gyms are still stuck in the way of hard sparring. I think that's the most important thing. Guys try to kill each other when they train. Longevity, man. If you're taking it seriously, you want to get somewhere, look after your body, eat healthy, live right, live the lifestyle. Don't just I've signed for a fight, now I must eat right, now I must train hard. Train every day, even if it's once a day. Train, make sure you're eating right. If you're not on diet, make sure you're eating 80% or 70% correct, because your body doesn't like there's drastic changes all the time, and that's not good for you. Like I said, I've been with Rory now 6 to 8 months where I've been eating properly. We now in ketosis, I'm on a fat adapted diet, and who would have thought having so many fats and oils and so little carbs make you feel this great? I've never felt this sharp ever in my life.
Sure.
And I'm the lightest I've ever been as well. Don't have muscle stiffness, no joint pain. I feel like I haven't trained today, and I sparred this morning for 40 minutes, and I still did strength and conditioning now before I came here. My body physically feels like I haven't trained. So I'm fighting with Roy. I'm like, hey, listen, what's wrong with my body? Because I'm not tired, I'm not sore.
Sure.
And it's weird. So look after your body, because if you're tired and sore, you can't train.
100%.
You're lacking, because then you can't do your skill training. Even if you're doing, I've been there, I've known, straight after a session, go and lie down, sleep, wake up, you're so stiff and sore that you can't even do the workout. You're like, gutful, you don't want to do it. You're like, why must I do this? And when your body's in tune and it's firing, it's easy to step on the mat and train for an hour and a half and then walk off and then go home and relax and then go back again. So I think just look after your body is the most important thing, and train smart.
Yeah, and I think that's such a weird thing, and it seems to be a lot of the mindset coming through these days is to go and fuck yourself up in the gym is not always the answer. You know what I mean? Train a lot smarter. I think if you look at like the UFC, for example, guys like Cowboy Cerrone to say, I'm not sparring anymore. All my sparring is
it's
technical.
crazy.
And you're kind of like, what do you mean?
He picks his partners. And it makes a lot of sense. The cameraman there was there today watching us spawn. He's like, you guys kill each other. I said, we're trying to kill each other, but it's controlled in a way, because I know he's not going to yes, he's trying to knock me out, but I know he's not trying to be vindictive or trying to hurt me. He's throwing because he knows I need it. Towards when I was in Miami training at ATT, the guys are vindictive. They're trying to hurt you. You can see the intention. Like, they don't want you there. And if you have guys like that in the gym, stay away from them. Like, don't train with guys like that, because all you need is a guy to throw you wrong and dislocate a knee or tear ligaments, and then you're out for a year. And sometimes guys don't come back from stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think again, everyone has to be honest. I think every gym has that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the sad truth. Yeah, so avoid him at all costs.
Just
or
don't
her
train
if
with
it's her. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
100%. Yeah, if it's a her, then you have a problem.
yeah, sure. Let's just touch on that. Your American trip. How did that all go down? I mean, I've heard from a few of your teammates what it was like, and you guys learned a lot of things there, and realized a few things there.
Yeah, the culture is totally different to what we have here. Well, what we have at FFM. You know,
Sure.
everybody's got each other's backs there, and they're not. Guys are genuine with each other. You know, when we rocked up there, guys are very friendly, and you know, you see all these big names, and they're all there in the gym. You're like, you kind of get caught up in like what's there, you know,
Sure.
and who the guys are. And then as you start seeing, like, the guys are, everybody's is for themselves there. You can see their intentions are, it's all about them,
Yeah.
or you know, or for the individual. I sparred with quite a few UFC guys, and I got the better of them as well. And guys who were in camp, you know, we landed, we were sparring with them, and not once did we feel like we were out of depth or in trouble. You know, we wrestled them, grappled them, we sparred with them, and we were like, what is a fuss about?
Yeah,
We're putting them on pedestals because they're in the UFC. And I think for them, you know, the UFC is like EFC for us, for
Yeah.
them, because they grew, you know, they straight away.
Yeah, it's just a different path, really.
Yeah,
They've
it's
got
just
they've different routes, yeah,
And as sooner the guys realize that we can go there and beat them, we're gonna smash them,
sure.
because our work ethic's a lot higher than that they are. They train, but they're lazy. We were training 3 times a day. We're training once a day sometimes as guys. You were like, what the hell, you know? But they got the body on the mats, and they've got, you know, you walk onto the mat, they've got 40 guys on the mat. So they've got a lot of variety and a lot of good skilled guys on the mat. And I think, and that's what makes them so good, that they've got all those guys training with them all the time. But our skill set is there. It's just the mental side.
Sure.
And for me, the biggest thing was confidence.
Okay.
I mean, we jet lagged as hell, and we still managed to spar. You know, you got the coaches coming to you after, which is, you know, not a lot of guys will get off the plane and can perform like that against a guy like that who's fighting in 2 weeks in the UFC.
Sure.
You know, I rocked him twice, and I spinning back kicked him in his guts, and he was winded, and I was like, really?
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
we are on that level for sure.
No, that's very cool to hear, and I think it's it's a positive and a negative that we're competing at that level, but you just need that big door to open.
No, and
That's-
it's going to
that's all it
come. I
is.
think the breakthrough's going to come soon.
Sure. And I think Dana White actually was on record a while ago to say that the next massive movement of MMA will come from Africa. That will
that's
be
cool.
the next one. So hopefully that's
I think I'm not too old by then.
yeah. No, you're still fresh, man. You'll still be around. Right, Martin. Just want to the last thing finish up on. Obviously, you've mentioned a couple of things going forward for your career. You've signed with HD Management. You've mentioned going overseas. What do you see like on the immediate horizon after EFC 60? Is there any sort of indication you can give us what your plan is, or what your objective is really?
Yeah.
Like, without obviously, like you said, like you're not 100% sure. You want to speak to the guys after EFC 60, but what is your ideal next move from there?
Yeah, look, ideally I would fight overseas, September, and then I know there's another event in Durban later this year. I'd really love to get onto that card as well. Like, I just want to fight, you know,
Sure.
whether Chad and JP are fighting in the small promotion in California now in August, which I could get onto if I really wanted to, and join them, which I think will be a great learning experience for us, you know,
Sure.
traveling and cutting
Together,
weight,
yeah,
and
sure.
which, if I'm smart, you know, instead of doing it by myself later the year, do it with them, rack up another international fight and get a victory under my belt and cut weight and just get used to that process. I think us as South Africans, we are spoiled. I think we're not out of our comfort zone enough. I think guys are too laxy-daisy and
Sure.
then set in their ways, and if things don't go their way, then they have a hissy fit. I think like guys should travel and fight.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do, you know. don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be tough, but you need to challenge yourself, and that's what I'm trying to do this year.
Yeah, I think a guy like Dave Mazzani really brings that to light, because he's like,
Yeah,
he's
amazing.
He's as nomadic a fighter as you get. I
Yeah.
don't think the guy's ever fought in his hometown. You know what I mean? Maybe once or twice, but he and I think that came out in his last fight as well. Like, everything didn't go according to plan for him. You know, I think he neglected the seriousness of the fight.
Yeah,
you know?
got caught up in the hype.
Yeah, it kind of looked like that. Like he's done this a million times. It's just another fight,
Yeah.
when it really wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't really paying attention to the smaller details. And that's what you've mentioned. Guys have said it before, and I think that's a big part of South Africans is learning to do all of this stuff on the road.
Yes.
Eating correctly, traveling
Yeah.
long distances, cutting your weight in a foreign place, doing all of these things. I think that's going to be a massive step, and again, you guys are going to be the pioneers of that. You're
Yeah,
gonna be breaking the
100%.
ground for the next generation. So youngsters now should be paying very close attention to what you guys are about to start doing overseas, and I think that's going to be imperative to
No, definitely,
our
I agree
younger
with you.
athletes as well, man. And we wish you all the best, man. It's exciting times. It's excited to see a couple of you guys. We hopefully we're going to see you overseas very soon.
No, for sure.
I know a lot of guys might be a bit negative that you're going overseas, but I'm all for it, man. It's so
No.
exciting for me, and I think
It's I think it's a good thing for us to go overseas. You
Sure.
know, we got to test ourselves and be real, and you know, to gauge ourselves and see where we're at. And I think we as South Africans are competitive culture. You know,
Sure.
we pick competitive nature. Look at our rugby, our cricket, all our sports. We world champions, and why not? Why can't we be world champions in a combat sport?
sure.
I think it's ridiculous if people think we can't. I think we can, and
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
we're going to show
man.
it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see it, and I think that day is coming very soon, if we're
Yeah.
honest.
I agree with you.
And I wish all the luck for the rest of your camp, man. Your fight with Leon, we're paying some close attention. That's going to be a hell of a fight. It's
Yeah,
really, really
cracker.
exciting, 100%. Yeah, man, people get down to Durban. It's going to be a hell of a show. It's an historic event, and it's massive, man. And after that, we wish you all the luck, and we'll chat to you in between there. We wish you all the best, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
You too.
Ciao.
The most dominant force in the EFC women's division, Amanda Mad Dog Lino, will clash with the aggressive and powerful Demolition Jackie Trussier for the inaugural women's flyweight title.
Absolutely savage Amanda Lino. Demolition Jackie Trussier.
Two EFC legends will finally collide in the hexagon as the hard-hitting Martin the Punisher van Staaden goes up against former lightweight champion Leon Iron Lion Maynard.
Martin the Punisher. Leon the Iron Lion.
EFC 60, 10 June, Sabaya Casino and Entertainment Kingdom, Durban. Tickets and broadcast information at efcworldwide.com.